19 electoral votes at stake in the Keystone State. According to our partners at Decision Desk headquarters, Vice President Harris has a slight lead over Trump with 49.2%. Trump is at 48.1%. Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, will take their bus tour through central Pennsylvania this week, making multiple stops across the state. Trump will also be returning there to Butler this week as well, his first time back since the first assassination attempt in July. You are going to hear a lot about Pennsylvania between now and Election Day, especially Allentown, located in Lehigh County, home of the Liberty Bell Museum, and if you're hungry, scrapple and cheesesteaks. Allentown Mayor Matthew Tuerk is with us this morning. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here. First of all, what's scrapple?
I have inside information on scrapple. I did not succeed in a scrapple eating contest, but it's pork products and some filler. But
okay.
We fry it up on a grill.
All right. Exciting stuff. Good for a fair time this time of year. All right. So let's talk politics here. Your state is always in the crosshairs, every presidential election that I can remember. What is it about specifically Allentown, your county, your region, that has these candidates in such a tight race, do you think?
You know, Allentonians are practical people. So there's less connection to party, I think, and more connection to policies that work to help our residents get ahead. We're working class. We look like a lot of America. Allentown, some of your viewers might remember the Billy Joel song from the 80s. That's not Allentown anymore. Allentown's a majority Latino city. We are mostly Puerto Rican and Dominican. A lot of folks who came here looking for more opportunity. And when you have folks who are focused on opportunity, focused on getting ahead, focused on making sure that children do well, they tend to listen very closely to what presidential candidates have to say.
I appreciate you bringing up Latinos because there are 600,000 Latino voters in Pennsylvania. About half of them, according to some of the research we've seen, have not been contacted. Why do you think that is?
You know, I'm not sure about I think that comes from Unidos, the idea that half haven't been contacted. I know I'm doing my level best to speak to every Latino voter. I'm the first Latino mayor of this majority Latino city. I think part of the challenge with contacting Latino voters is that neither of the parties historically had been well prepared to connect with Latino voters. Not a ton of Latino volunteers. Not a ton of Spanish speakers, but I know at least on the Democratic side, we've been making sure that we're messaging in the appropriate way to connect with Latino voters, focusing on issues that are important to Americans, because all of these voters are fundamentally, before anything else, Americans, but making sure that we're doing it in a way that's culturally sensitive and sometimes in Spanish.
Right. And seizing that opportunity, better Latino engagement, something you're pushing for. How might that be part of the bus tour stop from the Harris campaign through your state this week?
Well, we welcomed the second gentleman a few weeks ago. We welcomed Governor Walz to the area a little while ago. A couple of weeks ago, we had Ana Navarro visit us on the bus tour talking about reproductive rights. They gathered a group of Latinas to talk about those issues. Whenever the campaign is here, there is a focus on speaking with Latino voters, in part because when you visit Allentown, you are visiting a Latino city. So you voters here are largely Latino voters. So you kind of have to do both things. And I think that's one of the things that the campaign is deeply understood, is that the messaging is fundamentally about the same thing. It's about helping people not just get by, but get ahead, making sure that there's a conversation around housing policy and building more housing, and making sure that the issues that resonate with all voters are the issues that they talk about with our voters here in Allentown.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.